Hello friends. This week I came across a news that was trending throughout the week. It's where a football player by the name of Demar Hamlin, he collapsed on the field during a football game in the United States, and suddenly all of the players, they gathered around each other with Demar in the center and their hands over each other, kneeling down, praying for this guy. And friends, just a moment before, they were battling each other, fighting against each other in this game, and then suddenly they were united together and they started to pray. Even the ESPN sports reporter, he prayed live. This is not some second-hand stuff. This is millions of people watching this live, and they saw that these players all came together and started to pray. The ESPN sport reporter prayed live with his colleagues right there on live national television, praying for the guy to be recovered. He suffered a major cardiac arrest. And friends, it's interesting that suddenly all these people turned to God. So many of them, maybe some of them were atheists and scoffers and mockers, but suddenly they turned to God. All of these players on their knees praying to God because he's on the floor, he's unconscious, suffering a cardiac arrest. He could die. And you know what happened. You know why he got this cardiac arrest. 24-year-old player on the ground. And friends, they started to pray. This is not about religion. People started to cry out to God. God heard the prayers that were ascending through the throne of God, and God answered the prayer of all these people. God answered them, and he was recovered. My friends, why did God answer the prayer of all these people that were praying? People watching, millions watching live on television, live in the ESPN sport reporter commenting, prayed live on television with his colleagues praying. And friends, it was interesting. I looked at all this and analyzed this carefully, and my goodness, how God answered the prayers of these people. Friends, why did God answer their prayers? Why did God not left them, abandon them? God answered the prayers so that this can be a testimony to the world. Millions are watching right across the world. People are watching, and this is viral everywhere, that God answered the prayers of the people that were praying there for him. People who probably never believed in God were on their knees praying for this football player. They were united together, praying as never before. And God wanted this to be a testimony to the world, so that the atheists may know that Jesus is alive. The scoffers and mockers may know that Jesus is alive. The unbelievers may know that Jesus is alive, and they would believe. This is a testimony to the world that God hears the prayers of people when they cry out to him. God is not asleep. He's not dead. God wanted to show them Yeshua, Jesus Christ, wanted to show Buddha and the Lama and all of these so-called pagan gods that this God is alive. The God of Israel is alive. And when the people cry out to God in the United States, praying live, when the people call out to God, he answered them. And today, the guy is still alive. The football player is still alive. Friends, the Bible says in the book of Matthew chapter 18, and beginning at verse 18, this is what it says here. It says that, verily, verily, I say unto you, whatsoever he shall bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatsoever he shall loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Verse 19, again I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am also in the midst of them. So we see a union here, a unison of all the people coming together, bowing down, praying that God will restore life back into this person. A person on the floor, unconscious, suffering a major cardiac arrest. And here God intervened as prayers were ascending to the throne of heaven. God stepped in and answered the prayers of all these people, so that this can be a testimony to the world, so that people may know that God is alive. Yeshua, Jesus Christ, is still on that throne, and he has the final say. Whatever your problems may be, whether it's an addiction, whether it's some troubles at home, at work, whether it's financial problems, whether you have, whatever your troubles may be, the God of Israel is still alive. He is still alive. He's on that throne. I was so glad when God answered their prayers. When I saw that the guy was back again, I was happy that God answered the prayers of these people. And it shows to the world, in Europe, United States, North America, Africa, down in the Caribbean, people are hearing about what took place last week in the United States, that God intervened and saved a man who probably knows nothing about God. God intervened. God is not selective. God answers prayers. Nobody here is predestined. God does not choose who he wants to save and who he does not. No, the Bible says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him shall not perish but have everlasting life. So, my friends, this is an amazing witness to the world, a testimony to the world that God is alive, Jesus is alive, and the people who cry out to him, they believe it now that Jesus is alive. Many of those are scoffers, and many people who were sitting there, maybe they were scoffers and mockers and critics and unbelievers, but they saw that the players, all hands over each other, kneeling down, gathered around Demar, praying, and the ESPN commentator praying with his colleague live on television was a witness to the world. What was bad, God took it and turned it into good. What the devil tried to do, God took that and turned it into good. And it's good for the whole world, not just for Demar and his family and friends and players, but for the whole world, that the people may know that Jesus is alive. And we can call out to him. We can cry out to him, whatever the troubles may be. Whatever trouble is in your life, cry out to Jesus. Call upon him. He will hear. Unite. Gather together. 2 or 3. The Bible says, we just read, where 2 or 3 are gathered together, Jesus is in the midst. Where 2 or 3 agree on one thing, they were in unison there. They agreed on coming together. Let's put everything away. Let's put away religion and it's not about fighting against each other now for who's gonna win, but coming together. And there was a power that the throne of heaven came down and saved the life of Demar, Hamlin. So friends, the Lord is here. He's still alive. He's still on his throne. The Lord bless you. Keep crying out to him. God, every prayer, it's on the heart of Yeshua Jesus Christ. He will answer your prayer. Whenever he chooses, he will answer your prayer. The Lord will keep you. The Lord will bless you, and keep looking forward for his soon return. The Lord bless you.